What movie are we shooting?
We're shooting Godsend, which is a film about a young man who gets kicked out of a cult because he doesn't go along with the status quo of the ideologies of the leader. And he decides a little while later he's going to come back and kidnap um, a girl that he's been in love with for who's basically his whole life, and he never told her. So what better way to show your love than to rescue her from a cult that she doesn't want to leave? There you go. Like, it'd be really cool just to have, like, you know, just that little shot of you kind of looking at him, and he stops and looks at her, you know? Mm-hmm. So you can see kind of like what they were in that other world or whatever. Sure. And a lot of times with cults, you see people like isolate, and the minute that they isolate a group of other people, it's easy for them to kind of manipulate and start changing the reality of everything just because, you know, they're out in the middle of nowhere. You know, a cult is a very subjective term. Like, you know, it could be a church that believes in, you know, flailing around on the ground with snakes in your hands, or it could be an extreme belief in one's country, or that their religion is better than everyone else's religion, or maybe there's another way as opposed to getting swooped up inside of a group that doesn't necessarily embody all the things that maybe you think, feel, and believe about life, reality, God, all that stuff. When people get to controlling, it's like, I think it goes completely counter to what our experience should be. I want you guys just to kind of get comfortable with the movements.
You don't want me to put her over my shoulder?
Not until we're fully live and going. Like all the rehearsals. Let's just get the blocking close, and so I make sure I've got it right on the frame, and we'll knock this out, get a couple good ones, and then move into the coverage and get the like real performances and reactions. We shouldn't be spending our lives trying to control everyone. We should spend it seeing how we're going to make everyone feel more loved and cared for and all that. This is why I'm having a hard time trying to put the long one.
Do you believe in God?
That's an awesome question, dude. Thanks. Yeah, stick with go with that white one. Yeah, that one's cool.
Okay. And I don't. The short sleeve, long sleeve, cool. Can roll it up.
Yeah, you can roll it up.
Short sleeve for the other scene, but
yeah. No, you look like Little House on the Prairie. It's good, dude. I like it.
okay.
Yeah, I tell you what. As soon as we get the wide locked down, go back to the house. Grab your earring and grab me. No, by then we'll be out of. We won't need the sandbag. Yeah, just grab your earring. Cool. All right. We're jamming, guys. Too far. Coming back. Right there, Danielle. That's your 2. That's where you and Drew should be. And come on in. Farther. You need to end up somewhere right around there, buddy. Sounds rolling. I'm gonna call this 1A, take 1. Thank you. And action. I absolutely believe that we are created by a power that once you start putting any type of details to it, it draws lines in the sand and people start having arguments about it. So I absolutely 1,000,000% believe that we are created by something that is so incredibly fantastic and amazing and dynamic and big that to put any type of specific terminology behind it does nothing but alienate people, because other people have much more specific beliefs to that. And I think that's what people really need to kind of like be careful of, because the minute you start putting, you're imposing what you believe is right and what they might believe is wrong, then it's completely defeating the purpose whether anyone believes in God. So why do that? Why create any systems that make people fight and argue with each other about it? It goes counter to what it's intended for. Good, cut. Good job, guys. Let's do it again. Yeah. Very good. Almost done with day 1. 2, 0, 1. Yesterday was 0, today's 1. But it's really 2. But it's kind of 1. Because we didn't really shoot a scene, we just shot B-roll. But we actually call it day 0 because we wanted the first week to be on the same day as December. So today's December 1st.
Right.
So that way no one got confused that day 1 was actually December 2nd.
I'm confused.
So day 3 would be day 2. Or December 3rd would be day 2.
Time paradox.
Right? Who's on first? There's a really interesting passage in from the Gnostic Bible. It says to know thyself is to be one with God. And to me, philosophically, I think that's probably the coolest way to look at it, because if you really know yourself, you're truly loving yourself. If you're truly loving yourself, then you're probably turning around and loving other people as a very natural byproduct. And if you're doing that, you're creating a sense of peace. And if you have peace inside of yourself, you're probably not fighting and arguing with people about, you know, what gender or color or anything that God is. You're probably more just symbiotically enjoying the experience with whoever you come into contact with. And I think that is probably way more important. I mean, I could be wrong about all this. Like, who knows at the end of the day if any of us are right about any of this stuff. But I think that if we start with some kind of common ground of just to know thyself, you know, to be really good to yourself, and you can build off of that, then you can start to put together whether or not, you know, God's a man in the clouds with a big white beard, and if maybe the thing to embody is just to be good to people and not worry about what he looks like or what specific set of rules that he put out there. Because at the end of the day, God never came down and gave anyone any rules. People took it upon themselves to say, well, God told me. I think the minute you start implanting rules and telling people how they should be loving anything, it probably works counter to what loving actually is anyway, right? So there's my super long-winded answer about God, I guess.